Yeah.
So that, I don't know if that's a good thing or not. That was embarrassing, you know.
Probably what Al's doing right now, right?
Feel free to edit that one. I came to the United States as a 16-year-old, just turned 16. I lived at a refugee camp in Miami for 7 months. After that, they offered me what they used to call a scholarship to go to a boys' home in Kentucky, where I was there for 6 years. While there, I started going to college, met my wife, and got married. The common denominator in this various stuff, from the refugee camp to the boys' home, is that I got a lot of help. From the moment I arrived through the refugee camp, 7 months, even though it sounds difficult to be at a refugee camp, it really was nice people. The same thing at the boys' home. The boys' home was instrumental in me changing from a horrible student to one that at least wanted to learn. And even though I didn't want to go to high school, the one director of the boys' home, a priest, said, well, you're going to go to high school. I had a hard time at first because I couldn't speak English. So going to class was difficult. But by the end of my junior year, I was the most improved student. I went from being a horrible student to be a fair student. That was a monumental change. So I got a scholarship to college, went to college, became a civil engineer. To this day, my mother, who is alive, thinks it was a miracle that her son, who was an F student, could become a civil engineer and ultimately start my own company. A little anecdote could be that at the boys' home, one of the adult counselors taught me how to build a picnic table. And I actually sold 20 picnic tables to a supporter of the boys' home. And after building the 20, I thought, this is kind of interesting. I like the entrepreneurial idea of going from scratch and seeing something take form. So I think that element of seeing something go from nothing to something visual appealed to me. And in many ways, it kind of just guided my studies into engineering and ultimately into contracting. Well, the start of Rush Construction actually started with a name. It was a coworker not involved with the letters RUSH that suggested that I start a company named Rush. And because at that time, I was already getting support from my former bosses. And during the first year of Rush Construction in 1984, we started working for the Air Force. Air Force was our first contract. We got the award just before we would have closed the doors because we had run out of money. And within a 30-day period, we went from ready to shut the doors to got new life. And it kind of taught us a story. In the business, you have ups and downs, and you have to basically prepare for the difficult days. Fortunately, we haven't had too many of those. But at every step of the way, we've had changes in directions, in changes of what we were aiming for. Sometimes contractors get stuck into, this is our way of doing it, and we're only going to do it one way. Well, in our case, our talent is our ability to bend. You're delivering a service, and if a client needs something done this way, we do it that way. If they wanted to do it faster, we do it faster. So putting ourselves in our client's shoes is probably one of our key elements for us to be able to satisfy the client. And for that client to come back to us and says, we'd like you to do it again. Some of the more significant projects that we've done have been based on that we were able to show the client on one or two jobs that we really had their best interest in mind when we did the project. Once you establish that level of relationship, again, on a person to person, the doors open up. Because of our level of work on repeat business is so high, we really cannot afford to fail on any one job. So we have that cliche from the space program, failure is not an option. We actually use that in here. Failure is not an option. And it works. That formula has worked, and everybody else in the company buys it. In 1995, our clients, and at that time we only had two clients. We had the Air Force and Martin Marietta, had basically given us word that work was slowing down and 1996 was going to be a slow year. I decided that I wanted to do something special with the company. And because my wife is the teacher, I had heard the terminology sabbatical. So I decided to do a sabbatical. I had 3 key employees. I gave them a 1-year paid vacation. And I basically started analyzing what I wanted the company to be, what kind of level I wanted to deliver. One of the things that came out of that process was that I needed to bring additional talent to the company. Probably one of my great talents is really hiring good people, which has been the key to Rush Construction. And early on, as soon as I started bringing people, I thought that one element that needed to be addressed was the issue of the company ownership. That if we had owners of the company, not just me, that it was going to strengthen the company. So back in 2000, we actually started the employee program. And ours is kind of a freelance, I say program, freelance employee ownership. It is not a conventional retirement type plan, but part of that element was succession. I have 2 kids, I have no interest in being involved with the company. And back then I thought I want Rush Construction to survive me. And the way to do it was through the employees. What do I see for the future of the company? I will die one of these days. And what Rush Construction is able to deliver to our clients is the fact that we're going to be here for the next generation. We do it with cross-training. We do it with hiring people of various ages and various capabilities. So we're frequently talking about cross-training, succession at different levels of the company. We do it in estimating, we do it in project management, we do it in accounting. We want at one point in time to retire, and Rush Construction will continue. One thing with us that, because we are a people company, it is not just people on the side of the client, but it's people on the side of our team. As a company, we're very good with our team. We spend a lot of time celebrating our good fortune. And a good fortune does not mean that we had a humongous job that was completed successfully. A good fortune may be that we did a little job, but it was done in a record amount of time and the client was very pleased, even though it may have been a very insignificant project. We celebrate Christmas parties together, we celebrate anniversaries together, company anniversaries. So as a company, we are really more of a family than many, many businesses. Everyone in our office has just unique interest, unique talents, and I think our magic, our gift is bringing the strength of that diversity to be part of a team, and it works. Our effort of giving and our involvement with different community organizations, at the core of it goes to the basic values that the individuals have. I am the founder, I have that basic value. William Shivers is the president, he has the same value, and it's very easy to promote with the rest of the company. In my specific case, I have been the beneficiary of a lot of help from a lot of people, whether it be at the refugee camp or at the boys' home. I never stop. It makes a difference. So it is very, very easy to be supportive of organizations like the YMCA, Habitat for Humanity, and a list of others that we support either directly with personal involvement or financially. I think that sometimes rising through difficulties, the transition from a teenager in Cuba to an immigrant at a camp has an impact on you. And sometimes some people take it the hard way, and it's tough. I mean, I'm not simplifying it, and there's no sense putting rose-colored glasses, but sometimes you got to toughen up. And in the long run, not that I would want to repeat it or recommend it to anybody, there's some lessons that you learn from it. You learn to deal with the difficult days and look at the bright side of things. I jokingly around the office talk about, the old cliche about half glass full, half glass empty. Well, my approach is a little bit different. If I have a quarter of a glass, I have a lot more than nothing in the glass. So it's not just the half. It's anything, it's better than nothing. And try to improve it, and it works.
That was awesome. That was so good.
Well, I know that they're picturing some things in their mind of what
Well, I don't even want to ask.
So